Hi, I'm Dr. Fiorite, giving you common sense solutions to everyday problems. In today's edition, we will discuss how to protect yourself from becoming an I've fallen and I can't get up statistic. 20% of the population, or 1 out of 5 people, are octogenarians or over 80. This means that there will be more older individuals who are striving to live their lives with some semblance of independence. Many are foregoing assisted living facilities and they're opting to remain in their homes and use equipment such as Life Alert to keep safe and to have a monitoring service to contact them in case of an emergency or them contact the monitoring service. However, the most common occurrence to that person or that age vintage is the malady of falling in an area that precludes them gaining assistance in getting up. An older person who falls at home or in a remote area away from people is at the mercy of others as well as their equipment. Now, the shocking portrayal of an older person falling and not being discovered for days is real and is something that has happened over and over again to people of that advanced age. But is it something that is inevitable? Do we all have to suffer that? The answer is a resounding no, as long as we begin to protect ourselves. Well, how does a younger person or even a person of that advanced age begin to protect themselves against that predicament? The answer is to understand why people cannot get up from a fall in the first place and to prevent that problem before it even becomes one. We must understand that without a shadow of a doubt that the number one reason why people, both young and old alike, cannot help themselves up from a prone position and from a fall is because of muscle atrophy. And that's when the muscles become weak or they start to deteriorate because you're not using the muscles. That can happen to anybody at any point in life. But if you stop using your muscles, that's what's going to happen. And the mistake that proves to be costly in many who find themselves unable to rise from a fall is that they retire from working to a couch or a chair. And in doing that, they retire their muscles and they lose functional strength because their muscles no longer have a use. It's a classic use it or lose it scenario. However, this loss is a gradual decline that becomes steep and exponential as the person reaches an advanced age of late 70s to early 80s. And if they remain inactive, it becomes even worse of a problem. And this is the answer why older people who are inactive suffer the malady frequently. Now, let's make a clear distinction between elderly and just simply someone older. The elderly person is the person who is centenary. They don't do anything. They sit in a chair and they're virtually aging before our eyes. But the viable octogenarian can fall and get up from the fall, has good posture, and they walk without assistance, and they practice regular exercise. And that's the reason why. And they're sharp of mind because of what they're doing to keep themselves up and to prepare against such things. But the elderly person, again, is feeble and frail, and they generally use a cane or a walker. They never exercise, and they walk with a stooped posture, and of course, could never get up from a fall without assistance. So to prevent this from happening to us and becoming like the elderly person, we must begin to exercise those muscles that we use for strength and stability. The number one way that we can do this right now is by walking. Walking is the safest way to maintain a reasonable level of leg strength and balance, and we should strive for a minimum of 20 minutes 3 times weekly, and we should aim for 150 minutes weekly or 30 minutes 5 times per week. You should walk as much as humanly possible, since any exercise that you do beats none at all. Secondly, we should strive for at least 1 day of curling exercises for arm strength. Why? Because in the case of a fall, you need arm strength to either pull yourself up using a couch or a chair or push yourself up from the floor. You should invest in 10 to 20 pound dumbbells or whichever one you feel comfortable using, and you should practice a curling routine, as I said before, at least once a week. Now, what's a good number of times? The number would vary, but a good target would be 3 to 5 sets, and a set is a group of exercises, and 10 to 15 reps. And the rep is the actual curling. And we're talking about, as I said before, 10 to 15 curls. So that is the way to structure the curling exercise for yourself to maintain arm strength. You may do more curls with greater weights and more sets. That's your decision. That's your option. But you must do them to prevent from losing functional muscular strength. Losing musculature and functional strength is the greatest marker of aging, and it has an inverse relationship. In essence, the more muscle and strength you lose, the older you become physically. And the converse is true. The more musculature and functional strength you maintain, the younger you are physiologically. Now, you must also strive to maintain a level of flexibility. One of the markers of aging is flexibility. Now, can you touch your toes? If you cannot touch your toes and you find that difficult or even impossible, then your flexibility or lack thereof will someday impact your life in a negative way. So what you should strive to do, in addition to your curls, is to practice trying to touch your toes daily until you can accomplish this, or at least get close to doing it. Because this lack of flexibility, along with muscle atrophy, is the thing that causes hundreds of thousands of calls to these centers of people with the refrain that I've fallen and I cannot get up. So we want to prevent that, and the way to do it is to maintain muscular strength and flexibility in your advanced ages. I'm Dr. Feelright. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.